Hello and welcome to Business Buzz TV. Let's start our new segment where we'll be engaging with entrepreneurs and talking about their business and business experience. We'll also be talking about the impact of social media on their business. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Dianne Brown, founder and CEO of Discipline of Beauty. Dianne is also a fitness coach of Bikini Girl Fitness. All right, so welcome to the show, Dianne. It's really great to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so now this is not the first time I'm actually meeting Dianne. We've actually met about 12 to 13 years ago when we were actually both cheerleaders on the Jamaican national squad.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So personally, I see or had seen this trajectory, and it wasn't something new. I thought that when I saw that this was a path that you took, it was not new and it seemed logical, because Dianne to me has always had this it girl personality, right? She's always had this personality. She's always been fit, and she, in my eyes, is somebody that I could say definitely is a great person to encourage women and to encourage women into fitness. And I just thought that this step was just so logical for you.
Oh wow, I'm glad you thought that, because I didn't see it coming.
Well, me as a person looking on towards you, I'm thinking about those days on UTech ball field, and I can really say that I can see all of these traits. I think they're just more accentuated now, and you're just really more confident in what you're doing.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, Dianne, so can you share with us your entrepreneurial journey? Just tell us a little bit about how you think you ended up in this industry and on this path.
It's interesting because I feel like when we were growing up, now it's easy because you can decide what you want to do. When we were growing up, you had kind of paths laid out for you. So are you going to be a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse, or kind of creating your own business was still kind of new for a lot of us. And I didn't feel like I fit in to the normal things, because we were both on the national cheer team, right? So that's not a normal thing that you do. So I think I've always kind of had a love for the stage. I have good genes. Thank you, Mom. I have really good genes, and people would always ask me, "Oh my God, how do you get your body like that?" And I just wanted to tell them, as a mother, I don't know. I didn't do anything. But when I started working out because of pageantry, and people started seeking my advice, and I started to build this confidence, I was like, I feel like I could help people do this for themselves. Like I could really help people believe in themselves and actually do the work to create the bodies that they want. And that's kind of how that manifested for me.
Okay, wonderful. But to go back as to what I was saying, that's why I initially stated that I could see this for you, because you were always really fit and you just had such a nice bubbly presence about you that I know that this is a good industry for you and a good place where I think you will shine.
Thank you.
All right, so that's fantastic to hear, Dianne. So now, can you tell me about some steps associated with starting in this industry? Now, if there's a young girl out there looking at you and say, I think I'm confident enough to do this, or even if they're thinking they're not, what are the steps that you took or you think would be the right steps to take to become a owner of a pageantry company or to be a fitness trainer?
Okay. So I think the first step for anybody, especially young girls, and this is part of why I'm in both the pageant industry and the fitness industry, is because I feel like building that confidence in yourself is the first step. So a lot of what I do is encouraging people to believe in themselves. Whether it's pageantry or weight loss or muscle building, if you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to take the steps necessary. So one of the first things I have to do for myself is really build that confidence within me to know that I'm capable of leading other people, and that just helps me to do so much better. Outside of that, definitely figuring out what you want the business to be. So Discipline of Beauty especially took me some years to figure out what I really wanted to do at the root of it. And it's not just helping people win pageants, it's really helping people transform their lives and becoming the woman that they think they can be, but they need a pageant to do it. So it really is just self-development for girls. And then Bikini Fitness, which has grown so much over the years and has had so many different names. I started out helping women to lose weight, and now I'm really focused on helping women to build muscle. And that's also a part of like starting a business. Don't be afraid to change. Like, write something down now, and you might figure out next year you're gonna change it and do something else. And it's something that's always developing and transforming. So I'm gonna feel like I answered the question, but confidence is one, and then figuring out what you want the business to do, and then based on that, what do you need to set up in order for the business to accomplish that goal?
Okay, I definitely think so, because as a business owner myself, I think that the confidence to step out is definitely something that is definitely needed within any business. And also me myself, I have changed so many times. What I've done, I've changed the background, the forefront, and being an entrepreneur, there's no really set path. It's really growing. Over the years, you grow and you fine tune. And then that is how you figure out what trajectory or what path you want to go on. And so I think that what you're saying, I can definitely relate, because as an entrepreneur, these are the steps that we go through. We change. So basically, you're just saying that, start with an idea. And then with that idea, you start working on those skills, developing what you want to do in that business. And then where need be, you can change, you can pivot to fine tune whatever steps or whatever you want your end goal to be. And sometimes the end goal changes, because you never know if in the next 10 years you'll be what you call a motivational speaker, because I think that would be a great path eventually for you. You understand what I'm saying? So these things change, and I feel like it's just to really follow your heart and take chances in the business. You
can't be too rigid, and I feel like sometimes you have a set idea, like, oh my god, I need it to be this, and if it's not this, then you kind of lose control, and you're like, oh my god, it's not working. But allow things to grow. As a business owner, it's kind of like you have a baby, and the baby is growing, and the baby used to quiet, and now the baby loud. You're not going to try to shut the baby up. You're just going to find ways to cope with this new baby that you have. So it's just kind of allowing your business and yourself to grow, and then adjusting where it needs to be.
Exactly. Beautiful. Yes. So my next question, did you have a mentor that guided you through your process as an entrepreneur?
I had some really great friends. There are people on the internet. I don't know if I would say I had like one mentor, because when I started pageant coaching, it wasn't a thing that people did here. It wasn't, I could look at somebody and be like, so I'm thinking of doing this, and they look at me like I was mad, like I was a mad person. Like, what is that? Is that even a feasible industry? So a lot of that, I had to trust myself, and I had to kind of look outside of Jamaica to see what the landscape is like, what people are charging, how trainings were done, and then also using that information to create my own thing. So I think that's one reason we mentioned social media earlier. I'm grateful for social media, because I can just go pageant coach and I can see all these examples of what people are already doing, and then decide how I want to create my business from there. For fitness coaching, that was a lot easier, because there's so many amazing coaches in Jamaica. There are people that I got to work with when I was in the gyms, a lot of trainers. I saw a lot of different things, and I got to pick and choose. I like how you did that. I'm going to take that from me. I did not like that. I'm not going to do that. So I got to pick and choose what was going to work for me and my business.
Okay. Well, I think mentors are mostly in industries that what you spoke about in the initial part, like where lawyers are, doctors are. That's the industry where you'd find a lot of mentors. Because I personally didn't have any mentors, to be honest. That has a lot to do with my personality, because I'm more reserved with my business and try to keep things to myself. So there wasn't a lot of mentors for me either. So, but what I had to do was just use basically what we said and what we're talking about now, social media, to find out information and to know where to go with our business. So I'm thinking that now I can ask you this question: how has social media impacted your business?
Very significantly. So I'm gonna speak especially toward my fitness business, Bikini Girl Fitness, which used to be DOB Fitness. And so I started out in the gyms. I did Fit Farm. I was at Spartan, and then COVID happened, and gyms were like the first place to close, like lockdown, lock shop. And now I was basically spinning my tail, like, what do I do now? Right? We thought it was gonna be 2 weeks, 2 weeks turning to 3 months. So I decided I was gonna take my business fully online, which was a very scary thing to do because I'm a personal trainer in person. So I actually hired a coach. I hired a fitness business coach, very specific to my business, and they taught me the things to do, what platforms to use online, how to use social media, what to post, when to post it. And I literally, like, my entire savings at the time is what I spent for that business course. And they became sort of mentors to me. And I think that showed me how important COVID and having that training program showed me how important or how useful social media can be in pulling people towards your business, in sharing what you do and how you do it. But I think it's also something that you have to be cautious of, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to take anything on social media too personal. It's not realistic. It's not real. Or be too drawn into it where you feel like if you don't post, it's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, I don't post today. Oh God, what's gonna end? It's just kind of like taking the ebbs and flow of it, just as you would with anything else in life.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that, because I think that for your industry, I think that social media is good, because I would like to say that persons do use online for fitness. And now that we're out of COVID, I feel like you have the best of both worlds, because you had already introduced your customers to being online. So, you know, it's a lot less where persons can say, oh, I can't come to the gym today.
Right.
You know, you have that flexibility where you can say, do a lesson online, or you have the option. So it has created such a new market for you, because maybe some persons are like, oh, I can't do this today. But it also gives them accountability, so that they can go out and achieve basically their goals. Now, where social media is concerned, where have you had any, let's say, bad press?
Bad press on social media? No, because I'm fabulous. But I wouldn't say I've had any bad press, because I've learned not to take anything personally. And especially as a business owner, I've learned how to deal with rejection very, very well. Like, either my business is gonna be for you or it's not. And I like that you mentioned accountability and online, because a lot of my client base is in the US. They're not necessarily in Jamaica, so they can't see me. I kind of fly up and train them. So it teaches you how to be accountable for yourself, instead of having a physical trainer. If they're not good day, you're not good day, right? So it teaches that accountability. And I've just learned to separate myself from my business. That's actually a really difficult thing to do, because your business is your baby. Worse if it has your name, right? It's like, this is me. What do you mean? I am Bikini Girl Fitness. I am Discipline of Beauty. But no, I'm not. That's a separate entity. So if somebody has something bad to say, or somebody has a bad review, I handle it as professionally as I can. But that has nothing to do with me and Dianne as a person. That's just, they had a bad experience, and that's fine. It happens.
All right. So 2 things I want to speak on. So you're basically saying that social media has made your business so great, because you have international customers, and this is the impact of business, of social media on business, that I'm trying to, talk about. See how these things impact our business, and what kind of market it opens, and the type of dollars it generates, right? So that is great to hear that, you are able to talk to and engage with overseas customers, which you would have never had the opportunity to do, or maybe not in that scale as what social media has done for us. And the second thing I wanted to say is, you're saying about separating yourself from the business. And I can say that personally, because what I do some of the times is, when we get comments and persons saying this and that and that, because when it is products, the quality kind of varies sometimes, and persons would come out and they would have a lot of things to say. And I always tell my assistant, listen, this is not about you. It's about the business, and the business is itself. So don't take whatever somebody's saying as, you know, a bash to you as a person. It has nothing to do with you. It's all it has to do with is the product or the business itself, which is not me. It is its own entity.
Right.
And because you do that now, it just creates a lot more professionalism, and, you know, our personal feelings are not intertwined, and it just creates better results for the business.
Right. And if somebody has a complaint about something, you can fix that, right? Or maybe it's just not for them. Maybe they're allergic to the ingredients and I'm just needing to find something else.
Exactly.
And that's fine. You know, it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that your business is bad. It just means that it's not aligned with that customer, and you now are clear that, okay, these types of customers might not be for me.
Exactly. All right, so Dianne, what are 3 pros and cons of social media?
Okay, I don't know if I can come up with 3, but I'll tell you the ones that are on the top of my head. I'm going to start with a con, and that is comparison. And I mean, you can say, oh my God, just don't compare yourself. But if I'm literally scrolling and all I can see is what everybody else is doing, because I follow lots of people in my industry, I can see somebody post that, oh my God, I just made my first 10K, and I'm seeing all of this. It's hard not to think, what is she doing that I'm not doing? Like, oh my God, why am I here and she's there? So comparison is a big thing for that reason. I tell myself that if I wake up and in my spirit I just feel like I don't want to post it, I'm not going to force myself to go into that space, because you're going to see what's there. So comparison is one of the cons. I would say that's the only con for me, because I have learned how to kind of separate myself. So I'm not sharing too much that I don't want to share. I'm very selective about what I share online, and that way I feel like I have control, right? And I don't take anything personally. So the main con is comparison. The pros, I get to meet so many amazing people.
Yeah.
You get to create a community of people. I'll post a random question. People know my cat. It's just,
Marley?
It's just creating this. Sometimes you feel down, and it's the opposite of what I said before. Sometimes you feel down and you go online and somebody's like, oh my God, what did Marley have for breakfast today? And I'm like, wow, I'm so glad you asked. So it's just balancing those two things and making sure that you are listening to your inner being. Don't get too right. Making sure that you're listening to yourself, and if your body and your spirit is telling you that you need a break, take a break. Your business is not gonna suffer. You're not gonna dead. If you're not post for a week, take a break, and when you feel more up to it, then you can go back and just kind of have a strategy to how you do things.
Yeah. So I feel like those are definitely good and very specific to your industry, and not even just to your industry. I think they are overall pros and cons of social media. But I think that the fact that you realize these, then you are able to work on them, or more like to put forward your best foot, basically, where social media is concerned, and not having to just put out anything just to say I'm meeting a deadline. But the information that you put out is quality, and that is why persons are so engaging with you, because it's not like, oh, every day she's posting, so it's annoying. It's like, okay, you're posting quality when you're doing your post, and persons find it so engaging enough that they want to interact with you, and that interaction is what grows your social media and your business. Because nowadays persons are not just talking about the business of Bikini Girl Fitness. They want to know, who is Dianne. They want to know, what does Dianne think, what are the causes Dianne follows. These are the type of things that persons are no more interested in, and these are some things that will break or grow your business. So I feel like that is really, really good. All right, Dianne. So as a small business, an entrepreneur, a growing business, I don't like to call business small, a growing business, right? I want to know, what is the first service that you outsourced? Because as an entrepreneur, I think that for the longest time, or for too long, we hold on to too many things. We try to do everything because of a set way. But as I've grown, I've realized we need to delegate. We need to outsource. So what is the first service that you outsource, and how did that impact your business or help your business?
Okay, so I like to consider myself as a very, very lucky girl. I feel like when I was born, all the galaxies aligned so that I would have just like an easy flowing life. Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky because my mom is an accountant. So my accounting was always solid. Right. I just sent her my information and she tells me what I need to do. Go to the tax office, etc. Pay online if you feel like no. And then my best friend is in marketing. So I had a marketer for my business. We did so many things together, and I'm just blessed to have these people in my life that are able to aid me in different ways, and I'm able to make use of their expertise, and they're also able to make use of mine. I have hired like trainers, a yoga instructor. I've hired a dance instructor for my program already. And I think those are the main things I have outsourced just to kind of add variety to my business. I've hired speech coaches. I have hired people who do wardrobe for my pageant business. So it's just, I think for me, it's kind of not feeling like I'm the only person who could do this. You know, I have to be the head and I have to do all of these things. There are people that are probably better in that area than I am, and I can now give my clients the best of that world. And it's just being unselfish, right, to myself and to my clients and to other people who might need that business.
Well, I'm glad to hear that from you, because let me tell you, it was not that for me. Like, I held on for far too long to services. I'm not sure why I held on. No, maybe it's a control thing. It's a control thing. I think it's a control thing why I held on to so many things for such a long time. But it's great to see that, you know, you as a person, you realize early that, you know, this, I need somebody to do this. I need somebody to do that. And I think that definitely helps you propel businesses to grow faster than someone who holds on.
It's something that took some time, because I think a part of it is you think that I need this to be done this way. And if I hire somebody else, they're not going to know that I need it to be done this way. But you can teach people how you want your business to be. You can teach them how to do the different things in your business, and they might end up being better than you are. And also, I think there was a point in my business where I was burnt out. Like I tell you, I was like, it was so difficult to even wake up in the morning, because I was trying to do all of these things at once, and it wasn't even working. So that make it worse. And then I realized that it's okay to let go of control. It's okay to give somebody else the reins and let people help you, even if you're not paying them. Ask for help if you need it. Ask for somebody you follow online and you see them do something kind of similar. Oh my God, I am really having a hard time here. What did you do? Either them gonna reply, or them not gonna reply, or them gonna say goodbye, or them gonna help you. Right? So I think just realizing that we all need people. We all need some kind of help, and it's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, so in my journey now, I have definitely loosened the reins. I'm hiring people left, right, and center. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, today, right now, I have an ad out. I need somebody else for my store, because I was holding on for so long. I didn't realize it was holding me back. And now I'm like, listen, I need this. Oops, somebody I need a assistant. I'm just out there, and I feel like once entrepreneurs really realize this, or get to the point of realizing this, they'll definitely see how impactful it will be on their business.
I think sometimes it's also thinking about spending the money to hire the person. And oh my God, I feel like money mindset is something you probably need to work on as an entrepreneur, because the more you spend is the more you make. The more you get that money out to other people is the more money that's going to come into you. So don't feel like, say, Jesus Christ, I'm going to pay the person at $20,000 a month. What? You're going to make that times 4 just by hiring out, and investing in your business is really what you're doing.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you, and you made some really great points there. All right, so Dianne, what is the character trait that you exhibit that you believe made you successful as an entrepreneur?
I feel like there are definitely a few things that come to mind, but I think a lot of it has to do with a limitless mentality. I think if there's a part of me that if there isn't something that exists, if I can't see an example of it, something just tell me, then go create it. Like, just go make it. which is not, I don't think that's something that everybody has. I think it's a very special thing, especially with pageant coaching, right? I actually went to a business coach when I decided I was going to start, and I was like, help me, guide me with this business. She literally told me like, girl, this don't make no sense, or this not profitable, or you're gonna make money from this, or you get reoccurring clients. And now I'm doing that. So I think it's just kind of trusting yourself when you come up with an idea, trusting yourself and kind of seeing it through, even if nobody else around you understands your process. Going with that, and if it don't work out, then it don't work out. Maybe you discover something else on the way to that, and you're like, oh, this is a thing. So I think just believing in yourself and knowing that absolutely anything. There are people on the moon. Anything is possible. People that live on another planet. Anything is possible. You can do anything.
All right. So when you said like having a mindset of unlimited possibilities, like I think I've thought of different concepts, or maybe not concept, but thought of different interactions, saying that basically you kind of just put a word to what I've been thinking, having this limitless mentality to say that, so I've been thinking about it, but you just put a word there for me. And I appreciate that so much, because that is a specific trait of an entrepreneur, because that is what we thrive on. Mm-hmm. Having a problem and saying, what is the solution? How are we going to create a market for this? That is how entrepreneurship is born. That's how it is fostered, it festers and grow into whatever business that we want to have. And I feel like this right there just shows that, this is what entrepreneurship is about. You see something and you're like, oh, I want to do this. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you go and you figure out a possibility or an answer of how this works out, and then you create your own business. And then persons are like, what? How did she do that? How did that come about? And that is what you're doing. You are the first person I've seen in this industry that's, making a business out of it. And I feel like it is something that it's a new open market, to say. And I feel like this is definitely something that can grow, and you can lead this industry, and you are leading in this industry of, pageantry and a specific niche of fitness. Because sometimes they go to the gym and it's like they just want to group everybody into one set group, mm-hmm. while you are targeting a specific niche. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is just something that is going to make your business grow, and your market is going to be so niche, and it is going to be so fulfilling, because you're going to have that group of persons that want this, and you're going to find the persons that want this specifically, and that is going to be your audience.
Right. And I feel like sometimes even the word niche can feel so limiting to people. Like, mm-hmm. oh my God, I have to pick some da-da-da. But that's where that having that mindset comes in. Like, you have to know that, this is going to be something amazing. I don't know what's going to happen with this thing, but mm-hmm. I have this idea, and I'm just going to do things them, and it's going to come together for me. Just kind of trusting yourself and trusting the process. And that is something that has definitely changed or helped my businesses to grow the way that they have.
All right. So I want you to give at least advice, or I want you to talk about 3 tips that you would give an entrepreneur or somebody, a young woman, a young man who wants to come into this industry. What are your 3 top tips for coming into this industry?
Okay, so both of my businesses are people-based. They're service businesses, and one of the first things, paramount, be kind. Be a kind person. Be a good person. Listen to your clients. If you're delivering a service of some sort, just being a good, kind individual, mm-hmm. that changes things. I feel like that's probably not something people talk about in business, but that changes things so much, because you're dealing with people. And people have emotions. Of course, you have emotions, but you have to understand that this is the business and you're catering to these people. So just being kind and listening and trying to be understanding is very important. The second thing I would say in comparison to that is be professional, right? Especially because it is a service business. Fitness is not necessarily a professional thing to do. Pageant coach is not necessarily a professional thing with suit and tie. but you have to treat it like a business or no one else will. If you're just walking in and you drag your foot and you're wearing whatever, you just show up anyhow, that's how everybody else is going to show up to your business. So you have to set the pace and show up as a professional, have professional emails, just have the business looking and feeling like a business, but you're also a kind person behind the business. And the third thing I would say is touching back on what we spoke about before. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You're not expected to know everything. Everybody doesn't know everything. You're gonna have questions. Reach out to people that you think that can help you, whether on social media, your mother, your friend, people who you think can guide you in a certain direction, and take everything with a grain of salt.
Those are some great tips, guys. So if you are in need or want to be a part of this industry, I think this is a great path that Dianne is creating. And today I hope a lot of you learned something about the pageantry and fitness industry, and just take some tips, because these tips are specific to her industry, yes, but they can also be used in other industries, in other service-based industries, and we have a lot of those around. And in where social media is concerned right now, you know that where problems arise in the service industry, persons are bringing it out, and you want to ensure that your business is not there. Not all what you call it, publicity is good publicity. I personally don't believe that. What's your thought on that?
It depends on what your goal is. Like for me, a big part of both of my business is making people feel safe and loved and inspired and empowered. So bad publicity is not good for my business. I'm just trying to get as much attention as possible and as much engagement as possible. Then any publicity is good publicity. So it's just going back to that goal of your business, and what you want your business to do is going to be important in deciding what kind of publicity you want to generate.
Okay, I think that is good, and that was the point that I was missing. What your goal is in your business, because that will definitely determine the steps you take and the publicity you want attached to your name. So I want to thank Dianne for coming today. It was such a pleasure having her today, and she shared some great insights on her business and entrepreneurship. Now, Dianne, tell us where everybody can find you to access your services, and you can share your social media links.
So you can find me at Dianne, Dianne.o.brown, BROWN. And once you're on my page, you can find everything else, honestly.
All right, so Dianne's information will be in the bio, and we'll also put them up on the screen, so you guys can definitely reach out and find Dianne. Remember that being fit is not necessarily about a specific body type. It's overall health, and something that everybody should strive for and strive to achieve. So whether you have, you just want to become a bikini girl, or you just want overall health and fitness, Dianne is the person. And you want to make sure that you're with somebody who has a great personality as well. And as you can see right here, this is a person that we have right here. So thanks for joining Business Buzz TV. Be sure to look out for our next episode. Bye.